Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm working on a layout featuring a large piece of wood veneer. It is a heart frame, much like a cut file, and so that's exactly how I decided to use it. I decided to go ahead and cut up some photos to fit inside, and then two areas will have paper in it. So these photos are from a Girl Scout trip, and the majority of the trip I've already scrapbooked, so I just have enough photos probably for two more layouts, and this will be one of them. And it was a trip that we took to the beach several years ago. So these photos are old. The girls are all now adults, and um, this is probably when they were, I don't know, maybe 9. At least my daughter was probably 9, or no, she was probably about 10. So about 10 years old. So I went ahead and did this just like a cut file, and rather than using a pencil to mark my paper, I used a dry erase marker for marking the photos. And I don't know if you're aware of it, but it is perfectly okay to use a dry erase marker on the front of your photos if they are photo processed, and it just wipes off with a dry cloth. So you can see there I'm just wiping it off, and once I mark it, I just cut on the outside of the line so that it gives me a little bit of border so that I can glue them down into the frame. Now I'm using papers from Julie Nutting. These are some older papers, a couple years old probably, and I'm trying to figure out which one this is going to look best on. So you're going to see me flip through several pages. I'm not really sure. I do like it on the turquoise, but I don't really think it's the best option since there are so many blues in the photos and greens. It's kind of competing with the turquoise, so I think it needs um, something that will complement it rather than something that is kind of close in color. And then this is also a Julie Nutting paper pad. I think this one's a little newer than the papers that I am using as a 12 by 12. So I'm kind of flipping through there and auditioning different papers, trying to figure out which one I'm going to use. In the end, I decide to use a cut apart sheet, and I use a 4 by 6 for that area on the right hand side, and it's one that has some journaling lines on it. So I really like the paper, that turquoise paper you just saw me check out, and I really like this one as well with the little whales, but I kind of felt like they were a little bit too busy, so I wanted something a little more on the plain side because there's a lot going on already. And since there's a lot going on, there's not going to be a lot of embellishing on this layout. I will have some in the bottom left-hand corner. And here I'm still trying to decide, is there something on the sticker sheet that maybe I can put on the background? And you can see there's a 3 by 4 card there inside the package, trying to see if I want to use that. And then I go, oh, well, maybe I should use the 3 by 4 cards. And lo and behold, I find something that I'm going to go ahead and use. So in this case, I'm just using a pencil to mark where I want to cut it, and then I will cut on the outside of the pencil marks so that I can have a little bit of border to adhere it down. And then, of course, I'm going to go ahead and erase the pencil lines as well. And I think I'm using my fine line applicator on this particular layout. Yeah, I can see it there on the left-hand side. I'm using my fine line applicator, and it's got crystal lacquer in it, which I really like. It dries clear. It does leave a sheen, a gloss to it, but it also dries like acrylic, so it's a lot like Glossy Accents. And you can put it over the top of an embellishment and let it dry overnight, and that embellishment will now look like it's got a plastic or epoxy coating over the top. So I use it for that sometimes as well. Although I don't use that technique frequently, it does work, and I have tried it. And it dries really fast, so you can't leave the top off of this bottle for long if you leave it upright. You have a little bit more leeway if you have it laying down on its side. But definitely if it's left with the top off standing upright, it will definitely clog. but to get it cleared out, all you have to do is really run it under some warm water, and it clears out really easily. So I've had friends who've thought they've destroyed their bottle, can't get the top off, and I just go run it under some cold water and let it sit for a little while, and it does soften up and cleans up really easily. I finally decided I'm going to go with this red striped paper, and I know that paper's pretty busy, but I do like that it is a complementary color to the aquas and teals and blues that are in there. It's not, it's very much the opposite, and not competing with all of the blues and the turquoise colors and the blues of the ocean, and the girls are wearing blue, so there's a whole lot of different blue shades going on. Now, in order to make sure that this piece sticks really well to the background paper, I went ahead and used the fine line applicator. I didn't really trust that my ATG would hold it on properly because it is kind of heavy and bulky with the wood veneer, and I'm not really sure where I got that wood veneer. And that acrylic piece that says Play, that is from Bella Boulevard, and I will end up using that one, and I'm going to go ahead and doctor it up with some pink Copic marker. And there's my Copic color chart, and so it's helping me decide which pen to use. And I tried it on the back to see that I really like it before doing it on the front. Now, it is easy enough to go ahead and take the Copic off of the acrylic by using some of the colorless blender fluid, but it is also much easier just to try it on the back first. And I went ahead and went over it a couple of times just to make sure it has enough depth to the color. And then I'm going to go over it with some glossy accents. And the color on that, no, I'm sorry, not glossy accents, some glitter paste from Bo Bunny. And I think that's called Sugar, or I want to say it's called Sugar. It might be called Frost. Anyway, it's the one that's kind of clear or white with just the speckles of glitter in it. And I just did that to make the word stand out a little, give it a little bit more pop, and a little more sparkle and shine to the layout. And then I did take one of the large pieces of paper, had a bunting pattern on it, and so I cut those flags out individually, and you can see them in the bottom left hand corner there. And I'm going to take a piece of baker's twine, you can see it on the left hand side of the screen, just to the side of the layout, and I'm going to go ahead and drape those across. But first I'm going to go ahead and pop them up onto some fun foam, and that's just sticky back fun foam that I got at, I think, Walmart or Target or something, probably Walmart. And the word beach is up on fun foam as well, so it's giving some added dimension because the heart has dimension to it being wood veneer. I wanted to make sure that these things don't get lost in the background. And I'm inking those with, let's see here, I think I'm using walnut stain. That is pretty much typically the color of choice for me. It's either walnut stain or black soot, so in this case I'm pretty sure it's walnut stain. And that just adds a little more dimension, makes them pop off the page a little bit more. So I like how that's looking. And then I decide to go ahead and use some gems to put in between the flags, just on the right hand side of each flag, so it looks like it's being held on to the string with the gem. And I had first thought about using some little flowers, but the flowers were not little enough. They were still a little bit big and overpowering, so I kind of scrapped that idea. I didn't even put that on screen. And I just went with the gems. And I'm using a jewel picker and some glue from Tonic Studios. And I really like the way that this all came out. It came out better than I had thought. The title of this layout is going to be Beach Play. And then in that upper right hand area where there is a journaling card, I decided to leave that blank for the time being because I have probably, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 of these layouts already done for this trip, and they are stashed away in my daughter's Girl Scout stuff. I probably did them maybe a year and a half ago, and I don't remember what I wrote on them. So when I put these in the album, I will do the journaling. I don't want to repeat myself, and I have a really bad memory and oftentimes do repeat stories on layouts. So that is my workaround for that. I do my journaling at the end when I'm finished with journaling that particular subject or trip or event so that I don't end up with a lot of stories told multiple times. I'm adding some seashells, some little flowers, and just to kind of finish off this little area down in the bottom left-hand corner. We're getting pretty close to the end of the layout. So if you really enjoyed this layout, go ahead and give me a thumbs up down below. If you're not a subscriber and are interested in subscribing, you can hit that button too. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments about this layout, go ahead and leave those down below as well, and I'll try to get back to those as quickly as possible. I really do appreciate the comments, and I really enjoy hearing what you guys have to say. I did decide this upper right hand area needed a little more dimension, so I'm popping a few of those little flowers up on dimensional tape. And that's pretty much going to do it. Stick around for the close-ups. Thanks for watching.